Hi, I'm Thomas. I'm a computer science major with math and physics minors, and I love research in artificial intelligence. I applied to 4 schools, so not a lot. I applied to UVA, University of Virginia, Virginia Tech, JMU, and here. And of course, all 3 of those programs, they're massive programs. And there are good things about each of them. They're awesome schools, and I like them a lot. Roanoke was kind of an outlier at first. The reason that I found Roanoke was because my dad was looking around for schools in Virginia with good computer science reviews. And it turns out there was an article actually talking all about Roanoke College's computer science department and how amazing it is and the great things they do here, even though it's such a small school. And that kind of, that flickered interest for me. And I mean, I was sold on Roanoke when I came here. But the big thing was once I saw, how close we are to the professors, how the students are really in the experience, how the class sizes average like 10. I get a lot of one-on-one time with professors, and I work really closely with my friends and the professors on doing really cool projects. And when I came here, I kind of saw that. I saw that the students really attached to, their surroundings, their ideas, their projects, and that's really what I wanted. And when I was looking at the bigger universities, I was just a little bit set aback by the fact that the classrooms, they're really big. They have to be. But at a certain extent, that disconnects you from the material. And I was really attracted to the connection to the material. And I was really attracted to really getting into the experience. And that led me towards Roanoke.
Good. So when you were looking at colleges, you talked about how obviously computer science was important to you. You wanted to find a school with a good computer science program. So tell me a little bit about how computer science, why you were so interested in that, why you came in with that as your goal.
Yeah, so computer science is something I picked up at a little bit of a younger age as an interest. I never really learned about programming or the details of computer science until I came to college. My dad he worked on computers, and when I was young, of course, I remember going around. He actually had his own little business, and he went around and he did computer repairs and he did custom software for people. And so I remember riding around with him on some of his work days and he would go in and fix computers. Sometimes I'd walk in and I'd meet the clients that he was working with. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. It has that sort of glow of childhood memory. And that kind of started it. And then my brother, actually, who's 6 years older than me, had a strong interest in computer science and did it in college. And I got to see a lot of what he was doing, and it was really, really cool. And when I saw all the potential for computer science, I was immediately attracted to it. And I liked math a lot too, and computer science and math are pretty intertwined. So all those blocks kind of fell into place, and then the decision for me just became kind of obvious. It was weird, but it was the only decision. I was leaving high school, and I was like, computer science, robotics, artificial intelligence, those are my interests. That's what I want to do. And even now, I'm still working on it, and I love it.
As you said, kind of with computer science as a broad interest,
yep.
Obviously, you've developed that more since you've come to Roanoke, and
yeah.
especially, I guess, would say, you've made this your passion in life. Now,
yeah.
How do you think being at Roanoke, has helped you kind of make that more of a determination for your future goal, especially some of these more specific, like artificial intelligence and categories underneath computer science?
So, big thing at Roanoke, and you'll hear a lot about it, is research is something that professors like to encourage. And at first, what does research really mean? After you talk to different professors, it can mean a little bit different things for people, but really it's exploring ideas. You have a thought, you have something that you want to chase, and you do it. You go and you look and you learn about it for extended periods of time, months, like summer sessions, for example. And here at Roanoke, since they do encourage research so much, actually it was my spring semester freshman year when the professors pulled myself and a few other students aside who were clearly very interested in computer science. And they told us that they wanted us to look into ideas. What things are we interested in? What would we like to spend a summer doing, maybe? And at first it was just an intro like that. And one of my friends that was in the intro class with me, we went off and we looked a lot at robotics projects. And so we came back to the professors the next week at the same meeting, and we were like, well, we found these videos of robots doing this, and we think this is a really cool project. And just from the start, they fed us just what we needed to latch on chase down our own idea, come back, and they helped us develop it into a project. And that process has happened again and again and again here. I've done that. I've done all sorts of projects. I've done robotics my first summer. I did parallel computing a fall after that. I have done machine learning as a spring semester independent study with a few students. I've gotten to do research here on computer vision as well. And every one of those was something that the professors talked to me and some other students, or just me, and they encourage me to go forward with the thoughts that I have about a field, or kind of express my interest and really dig in. And when they do that, it's what's helped me decide and really become certain about my decision to go on to graduate school and continue my studies with artificial intelligence and robotics.
Now, you talked about how, like, that first year, the professors, like, pulled you aside and
Yeah.
they were like, we see this potential in you. And how did that make you feel? Because, I mean, that's, you're a freshman, you're just getting started. I mean, how does it feel to kind of be pulled aside and encouraged to discover more, I guess?
Yeah. So it's funny. I guess I did say pulled aside. I never really thought about it as a super unique thing, because I have so many interactions with the professors and other students that it was just like a little collection. I knew that they specifically wanted us to meet for research, and I thought that was really cool. I actually was really motivated by the fact that I'm sitting here in class doing things I really enjoy, and they latch on to that. And they send an email saying, hey, it looks like you might be interested in research, and that connection really helped encourage me. And of course, you show up at the meeting. It feels really cool to have them reach out and encourage you to chase your ideas. And I mean, I loved it. I thought it was really awesome.
Tell me a little about your senior research specifically, or some of these research opportunities, but I think specifically the senior research with the artificial bee colony.
Oh, yes, that's a good one. So actually, last fall, I started my senior research project in computer science. And so in computer science, kind of the last thing that you have to do, one of the major course or degree requirements, is that you do some sort of independent project. For applied students, that's usually building something. For research or research track students, that's usually learning in depth about a topic and producing a paper that's publishable in a conference or journal. And I was looking around this fall. Of course, I listed off, I've seen a lot of different things in computer science, but what I hadn't touched on yet was called the field of optimization. And it's the idea of, if you have something unknown that takes numbers as input, let's keep it simple, how can you figure out how to minimize what comes out of that? It's a question that's kind of interesting, because at first it seems distant from reality, but if you think about it a little bit, almost anything in life you could model as a sequence of choices, and then what happens as a result of those choices. And the study of optimization is, how can you get the best results from the fewest attempts? And I was really interested in it. And that was, after a little bit of digging, I found an algorithm called the artificial bee colony algorithm, which is an optimization technique. It's funny, the bee colony is used more as an analogy to explain it. Of course, you could explain it with just statistics too. When I delved more into that topic, I actually found a little bit of a hole that I felt in the field of optimization. And there's a conference I found that I really like that's on big data and optimization. And what I've noticed is a lot of researchers are creating really cool algorithms right now. And artificial bee colony was the one that I latched on to. And I think a lot of researchers out in the field are latching on to very specific algorithms as well. And I'm not finding a lot, and no one's finding a lot of reviews or surveys of the different optimization algorithms and how well they do. So my senior research has now morphed into a comparison of a few different types of optimization functions. One's inspired by the cuckoo bird, which is really funny. There's ant colony optimization. So there's all sorts of inspiration from nature in these algorithms too, which is really fun, because you get to see how it ties back into reality. And I'm working right now to compare all of these algorithms and say, okay, we have all of them. Everyone likes their own, but let's kind of, the big picture, see which ones perform better on which types of problems. Because of course, different types of problems, you want a different way to get to the solution. And so that's where my senior research has really led me now, and it's really awesome. I love optimization.
Because I feel like that when you talk about your research, you just have this big smile on your face, like you're just very excited. What is it about research that makes you so excited in general? I mean, it sounds like you've done a lot of research while you've been here. And how, I guess Roanoke's probably helped some of that. But
Yeah, no, it certainly has. It's been encouraging all the way, and it's set up all of my opportunities that I've grabbed and latched onto. Research, I love ideas. So I really like to think about any problem that I run into. And of course, I'm involved in student government, and I'm an RA too. So I don't just mean problems in mathematics or computer science. I mean any sort of problem that you could latch onto. I really, really like to think of creative and effective solutions to problems. And so research, it really, I mean, it is the pursuit of problem solving. You're trying to do some sort of problem solving that contributes to humanity's knowledge base. This is what we know so far. This is how you can take it a step forward. And I love that. It's that opportunity to contribute. It means a lot. And at the same time, it's just fun. Everything, it all comes down to a puzzle. And I mean, who doesn't love games and puzzles? So it's not hard to connect to it all for me. And it makes me smile because I get so much out of it, and I get to give so much back because of it. And I love that.
You talked about, you led right into my next question, which was you've had a lot of leadership opportunities on campus in many different areas, SGA and everything. How do you think, tell us a little bit about those, and how do you think Roanoke has kind of given you the tools to be able to be involved in those kinds of organizations, especially with a pretty busy class load?
Yeah, so with a major and 2 minors, it's a lot of work to keep up with, but I mean there's more than enough time. And Roanoke, I just had a conversation the other day about this. I like to think of it as a graph problem, and that's a little bit specific, but in math, right, you think of a graph as nodes or points connected to other points via edges, right? And you can consider any network of people a graph. The big benefit that I've experienced here and that I've really ridden the wave of is when you have, I mean, Roanoke College is a full college, so we have all the departments. We have everything that a big college does. It's just on a little bit smaller scale. And what that does is it takes that big graph of all the places that you could go and it shrinks it down so that you don't have to cross as many edges to get from one place to another. You don't have to go down as many roads to get from doing computer science to working with admissions, or working with admissions to working in student government, or student government to going back and working with people in commons. It's all so closely connected that it's not hard to just take steps between things. And so that's really a huge part of Roanoke that I guess I saw when I got here, but I couldn't really turn it into words like that. And when I think about it now, it's just obvious that the connections are so close, the opportunities are so adjacent to me all the time, that it was kind of hard not to go out, explore, get involved in student government, because it was a good opportunity. It was more problem solving on the campus scale with people. Get involved in residence life, because it's more problem solving, but on a personal level, for floor by floor in a building. And then, of course, get involved in research, because it's more problem solving in academia. It's all just for fun.
Expect that you would be doing a lot of that when you first came here, or was that just like a surprise, kind of a surprise passion you found along the way?
I was a camp counselor. So energy is kind of a core of my spirit. I really like energy a lot. And I like to really put my effort into things. I like to give it my all. I'm not a fan of just partially doing something and walking away. And so, I mean, in part, it was that attitude that's connected to me, to all the things that I do. But again, like Roanoke, when things are so close to you, it doesn't even take that much energy to get from one spot to the next. You can find your biggest interest, your passion, and what you love right next to you. Whereas at other places, it could be 10 or 12 steps away. It could be too many steps. It could be enough energy where you don't actually get to it. And that's sad for me. But I love it here because you're so close to your you're so close to what you can love, at the same time what you do love. It's amazing.
Cool. Good answer. Good, Thomas. Okay, so artificial intelligence. Back
Yes.
to that. That has kind of become, obviously, it seems like anyway, one of your biggest kind of passions from
Yeah.
Roanoke that you've discovered, and obviously you're trying to go to graduate school for further study in
Yes.
that. What do you think that you've been able to do here at Roanoke that's helped you kind of gain this advantage in applying to graduate school with artificial intelligence, or for that?
Yeah, well, I mean, grad school applications have been a big thing, of course. They come around fall, senior year, and it's like, wow, I've got to pick all my schools and get ready. Roanoke has, it's set me up. Because I've had so many research experiences. I've been so close with faculty. I've had a lot of independent studies. I haven't that advantage over other applicants, and I love it. I don't think it's a bad thing either. I actually, the summer before this, I got to do an NSF-funded REU, which is the National Science Foundation, which is the government program that sponsors undergraduate research a lot, and other research as well. And those are some of the most prestigious summer research opportunities you can get, and I attribute that entirely to all the research experience that I got while I was here at Roanoke. And research experience, of course, for graduate school and for pursuing PhD programs, what they want to see is that, you know, I'm looking at a student or a PhD candidate now that can pursue their own thoughts independently. You know, I don't have to hold their hand, and that's not something you would necessarily expect. You know, a lot of people, you get independence from college, but when I apply to graduate schools and they see that I have 5 research experiences in entirely different topics, all with successful production at the end, it's a little bit of a bell ringer for them. It's a good thing. And I've seen that with some of the schools I've applied to. I had a professor from Virginia Tech email me a few days after I submitted my application saying, "It looks great. I just wanted to introduce myself and tell you about some research projects that we're working on. Please talk to me. This looks really cool. I've sent stellar recommendations to the admissions committee." I was like, I don't even know you, but it's that sort of close connection. And when you see a student that's done so much research that, you know, it comes from Roanoke, I mean, for them, I feel like it's a no-brainer. You see someone with that much experience, that much connection to what they want to do, they look ready. You know, I look ready, and I feel ready. But the important thing is that on my applications, it delivers that way. That the graduate schools can tell that I know how to go and pursue a thought, and I know how to turn it into something presentable that can be productive for the people around me, for academia, for professional activities, things like that. Person's increase leads to the people around them getting better at solving problems. The people around them getting better with the people around them, and it just, you know, all of a sudden everyone's better at doing everything that they want to do, all because you've come up with an algorithm that's good at solving problems. So artificial intelligence is the chance to change the way the world works, the chance to change the way people solve problems, the chance to improve everybody's life, to improve everything. And I don't know, I consider it kind of a pivotal, a fundamental problem for that reason, is because solving artificial intelligence, creating something that's generally intelligent, that can take any problem and find a solution to it creatively, is the last invention you need to make. It's the last invention.
No, keep my explanation of the...
Yeah. When you combine the intuition of a person with the memory and the speed of a computer, you get problem-solving abilities that we've never even seen before. The two together can solve anything. And that's really what I'm seeking. You know, I'm trying to find a way to build an algorithm that can work alongside people, that can help them solve their problems. And it's incredible. It's an awesome experience.
Now, Thomas, what makes you excited when you look into the next few years, however long you will be in graduate school?
Yeah.
You know, what would you say makes you most excited?
So, while I've been at Roanoke, of course, during all of my work and all of my studies and all my work, you know, SGA and RA stuff and doing research, I've thought a lot about this problem that I want to solve. How do you generalize problem solving? I feel really close to some simple solutions. And I'm not the first one. There are a lot of researchers out there right now working on algorithms that perform really well. But I think I have ideas that are a little bit different than the people that are out there right now. And I feel on the brink of coming up with an algorithm that can functionally do what I want, you know, and problem solve next to a person. And if I can actually come up with that, then I'm that much closer to that ultimate goal of generalized intelligence, of artificial intelligence, reproducible artificial intelligence. And so I feel like in the next 5 years, I mean, that, you know, my opportunities are just going to grow even more than they did here, and that's incredible to me, to just keep growing that much and to have that much potential. There's so much potential. I'm really excited to see if I can solve that problem.
Your love and interest in artificial intelligence, how would you sum that up briefly?
My love and interest in artificial intelligence comes by nature from its connection back to people. And it's kind of ironic, right? You think of artificial intelligence as being distant, steps away. But I imagine it right next to us all. I imagine it next to me, working with me, next to all people, helping people. And when I think of it that way, it makes me proud of pursuing that as my goal. And because I feel proud and I'm happy about it and I'm happy about what it can do, that gives me the energy to keep moving forward.
Last question. To a high school student who is looking into colleges and considering Roanoke, what
Yeah.
would you tell them?
I would tell them that Roanoke is the place where opportunity is next to you at every step. And that's not something to think lightly about. Because when you go to a place and every door you open could be something that you love, another great thing you could do, that's incredible. It's not like you're 2 or 3 steps away from your passion, your core motivation, the things that you love. You're right next to it all the time. And that's the big benefit of a small college. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but I can't imagine education in another environment than one where you're close to your professors, one where you're really close to your peers and everyone in the class. I can't imagine a place to learn where your professors don't stop and say, yeah, you're good? Because that's really important, that everyone's on the same boat, that everyone's moving forward together. And it really accelerates the learning process. So honestly, it's obvious to me, but small school is the way to go, and Roanoke has just got opportunities at every door.
One more question. It's out of something else.
Yeah.
You talk about your professors a lot and helping you and just really making sure you're good with everything you're learning. Is there
Yeah.
one particular professor who you feel like has most impacted you since you've been here, and any examples of how they've done that?
Yes, there's one that I think of as the most impactful, but it would be bad for me to say that it was just one. I've had more than a handful of professors absolutely change my experience here, because every one of them has talked to me in the time when I was trying to think through something that was really tough for me, and they've given me the energy and the ideas to take the next steps. Dr. Bouchard is actually a professor in computer science. I would say is one of the most charismatic professors in computer science. Don't tell the other ones I said that. But it's really fun. His classes are amazing. He comes in with a lot of energy, and he really, moves you when he talks. And the assignments that we do in his class feel more than just assignments and games. They feel really like they're fun, they're engaging. I always came out of them with like a smile and really wanting to go and spend that much more time on the same project. And when a professor can give you something and you just want to spend all of your time on it like that, I think that's really a talent. And so Dr. Bouchard is probably one of the most influential professors for me. Yeah.
And Thomas, is there anything else you would like me to
I mean, I think I've summed up most of it throughout the interview. It's having opportunities right next to you, having the chance to do anything you want all the time, being connected to my peers at the same time as the staff at the college, at the same time as faculty, at the same time as the board of trustees all at once is just an incredible experience. And you don't find that just anywhere. And I mean, I can't emphasize enough how much I've loved it here and how I would do it again and again and again over and over if I could.